Good morning. EURUSD has been consolidating, providing us with a doji as a candle close yesterday here on the daily time frame. Furthermore, there haven't really been any major developments surrounding the Israel-Iran conflict, causing the overall sentiment within the market to return back to normal levels. Now, if we look at EURUSD here on the daily time frame, we can still see that the daily time frame is fractal bullish, with the current fractal high being respected. At this point in time, if we load in the fractal indicator, what you will be able to see, and this fractal indicator, by the way, guys, we will be dropping an announcement today or tomorrow, but what we can see here is that the overall daily fractal low has been respected, daily fractal high is still open, and the overall market order flow still remains bullish until this moment. As we all know, we've tapped into an area of daily demand, with this being the sub for the buy up breaking market structure. We tap in and we move straight back out of it. Furthermore, the market has retraced into the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level as well, with that first bearish candle close on Friday, tapping as well into that daily area of demand. Demand then came into the market and pushed the market up higher. So overall, it would be logic to think that to assume that you want to continue to look for that bullish order flow, right? So let's see what the lower time frame then is doing. So looking here at the lower time frame being the 4 hour, we can then clearly see, and on the 4 hour time frame, we had several areas of demand. Now I'm just going to clean my charts up for you guys, because what we can then see here is that we have this as an area of demand over here. We have this as an area of demand over here. And we have that area of demand right above it as well. Don't mind my changing chart colors, by the way, guys, just experimenting a bit. And let me know what you think of the new chart colors as well in the comment section down below. But what we had here was obviously the first tap into that first area of demand. However, if you then looked at the 1 hour time frame, what at the time you could see is that the market just remained bearish, right? We get the push down, pull back up, push back down, pull back up, push back down. So this area of demand no longer available. Also, you had these double ascending lows, which were acting as liquidity above this area of demand over here. So that first demand zone you can pretty much just disregard. Then what we saw at the time was the initial reaction to this area of demand that caused a V-shape reversal in towards the highs. The market then retraced into this imbalance candle, and from there it obviously headed up higher. Now what you can then see is that the overall momentum kind of like slowed down. We get a break, retracement, we get a break, retracement, and now obviously we've pushed aggressively back in towards the downside, pretty much from this area of supply over here. Not a massive area of supply, but it is supply. So overall then what happened here is that we have this now as the buy for the sell, which is your supply that's currently in control. Here internally we have liquidity being grabbed, which we liquidated this morning, and now we're starting to push down lower again. So there is potential for some EURUSD shorts, keeping in mind that we have these ascending lows. Here we have ascending lows as well. So there is some potential for it to push down lower. Personally, not a trade favorite of mine, due to the fact that the daily fractal is bullish. The 4 hour fractal is still bullish, and the only thing that is bearish is currently the 1 hour. So if you are in shorts, I would only be looking for kind of like a short-term opportunity, and then keep in mind that you should keep an eye on that 1 hour bullish fractal again, because that is the moment that you can then start looking for longs again, which would be in line with the 4 hour fractal, and which would also be in line with the daily fractal. So yeah, that is what I have for EURUSD. Overall, yes, kind of like we come above this high, and you could say this is like a liquidation event, which could cause kind of like the next drop. Does it have to happen? No, but it is something that you can take into account, that we did pretty much liquidate this high. So if you are looking for kind of like the bigger shorts, myself, I will only really start looking for shorts once we break the current fractal low here on the 4 hour time frame. So preferably, I would even see one more push up, and then, for example, the fractal low is over here a lot closer, and then get into like these shorts, because these would be much better priced than waiting for this all to drop down here, because then you're super late, and let's say the momentum is high, you could just continue selling off. So that's kind of like what I would prefer. But yeah, I mean, with the daily order flow being bullish, the 4 hour order flow being bullish as well, yeah, for now, mainly longs still make sense. But here on the 1 hour time frame, the market structure is just a little bit messy at the moment. Going into the dollar index, we can see that the dollar index has also been moving consolidatively, especially if you look here at the 4 hour time frame. Overall, for the dollar index, we are still bearish order flow wise. We can very clearly see again, if we just remove these lines, that overall from a daily time frame perspective, the daily fractal is bearish. This here is your supply zone. We tap into the supply zone and we push back down lower again. So looking at the daily time frame, obviously you are in bearish momentum in towards the downside, and the daily fractal is also bearish. So preferably you only want to be looking for those shorts. Going into the higher time frame being, let's say, the monthly, or let's say the weekly. On the weekly time frame, the only thing that could pretty much cause the market to reverse is obviously this liquidity low over here. For the rest, the next kind of like major lows would be this equal lows. Over here we have these ascending lows. So if you are looking for longs, it should preferably only happen from, let's say, these equals or these equals over here. So 97,685 or around 94,629. Now, if you want to see longs happen here on the dollar, then obviously we're going to need to wait for the daily fractal structure to shift. So it'll be a break of this current fractal high. If that current fractal high breaks, then you have the longs. Otherwise, just keep looking for shorts within this immediate area of supply. Go into the 4-hour time frame and you'll also see that the current 4-hour fractal is bearish as well, and the 4-hour market structure is bearish as well. Let's say we just focus on swing structure very simply. Boom, boom, right? So lower low, or lower low over here, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then somewhere over here you would expect a new lower high to be formed. Now, looking at the 1-hour time frame, we can then also see here that we have pretty much gotten, let's say, some bearish internal order flow. We've retraced into the extreme prices. There was some liquidity resting on this 1-hour wick over here. Maybe on the 15-minute time frame it becomes a little bit more clear, because you see as soon as we pretty much liquidate this wick over here, the market starts to reverse in towards the downside. So let's see now what will happen from these areas of supply. The sad thing is, descending highs, never really powerful to look for shorts from. So preferably you would want to see those highs get liquidated first before looking for any shorts. So that's what we have for the dollar overall. I mean, daily time frame, 4-hour time frame are both still extremely bearish. So it's still too early to look for longs from a technical perspective. Going into AUDUSD, we can see that AU has taken out that massive high, which I've been waiting for such a long time. So that is amazing to see. Now, does it mean we can straight away look for shorts? No, not yet. Obviously, we have the ascending corrective price action, but this has been going on for such a long time. Now, if you are looking for shorts on AUDUSD, then you would need to see a break of the daily current fractal low. However, even with a break of the current fractal low on the daily time frame, the price action is so choppy that it doesn't really mean too much, because you can see previously over here that you also broke the daily fractal low, but nothing really happened. So I'm really waiting for some momentum to come into the market before looking for any potential shorts, but definitely also for the dollar to shift daily fractal structure before looking for any AUDUSD shorts, because otherwise I'll only be looking for further upside from AU. Going into GU, so GBPUSD, we can see that GBPUSD is selling off as of this morning. This is pretty much the pair that I like the most for shorts out of all of these dollar pairs. EURUSD does really just come across a lot more bullish, but GU still very clean price action, in the sense that we still very beautifully have the overall one high, the overall second high, and the overall third high. So we have the ascending corrective price action, and now here on the 4-hour time frame we are seeing some bearish momentum. Pound data is the weakest out of pretty much all of them for myself at the moment. So I'm now looking here at the 4-hour fractal structure. Supply over here. Now this is turning into a supply zone over here. Let's see what kind of 4-hour candle close we get. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, we can see here that we have retraced, liquidated this high over here, reacted to this supply zone. Now we've shifted momentum here with breaking this internal area of consolidation. So let's see. I'll be looking for some short-term further downside, definitely from GBPUSD. Overall, though, I must say it is very messy price action. Daily fractal is still bullish, so that's kind of like against the shorts, but the 4-hour fractal is bearish. But then again, it's kind of like a consolidated price action. But overall, I would prefer a deeper correction, and that is often what you get with the 1, 2, 3. Now, from a fractal perspective, again, it's not very clean over here. It's very, very messy. So I'll just be looking at this mainly from, let's say, a daily time frame perspective, where we have not yet retraced into the 0.5 fib. Here we still have a fresh area of demand open. Doesn't need to retrace that deep, no. Obviously, with a daily fractal, we could move up higher at any time, but I do really like the overall corrective ascending nature that we have with the 1, 2, 3 high, and currently as well, the bearish fractal structure that we are seeing here. So if the dollar does start to break the 4-hour fractal high, then GBPUSD would kind of like be the first short that I would look to potentially scale into. Now, going into NZDUSD, we can see that NU has pushed up higher as well. Still very consolidative, and still not a pair that I'm very happy to be trading. Overall, just only looking for longs still up in towards this X. So if you are looking to trade NZDUSD, I would be focusing on those longs, mainly. Obviously, now we have an area of demand over here, which liquidated pretty much kind of like a low of a range. So you could consider this a strong area of demand. If it were tracing in towards there, you could look for longs once again. Now going into dollar Swiss, dollar yen, and of course gold. Dollar Swiss yesterday pushed up higher. Overall, still very slow price action. Not the ideal price action that we want, but again, coming down lower, still has potential to push up in towards this supply zone over here. So some short-term longs still could make sense, and our overall swing longs will only come once we break the current fractal high. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, I identified that we had a 4-hour fractal structure shift yesterday. So push down, pull back up, push back down, push up, fractal break. We were tracing to 0.5, and from there we headed up higher. On the 1-hour time frame, a nice 1-hour fractal break occurred over here, which provided you with some longing opportunities for the short term. Now looking at ENT or USD Swiss, I would be saying that preferably you have some short-term longing opportunities, because for now the 4-hour order flow remains bullish. This for now is kind of like your immediate area of demand. So let's see if it can continue pushing up higher, take out these descending highs at some point in time. Do remember that it is a risky trade, but this week we do have Swiss interest rate decisions, which they are likely to cut interest rates again. We have bad inflation numbers. If the speech overall is dovish, so bad for the Swiss franc in the sense that it's bearish, then that should push USD Swiss up higher. So I'll be looking for those longs, but the real longs for myself are really going to come back once we break the current fractal high on the daily. Looking at dollar yen, I was looking for a short yesterday. However, what happened with that short position is that we didn't really get the confirmation. So I was looking for a short position within this area of supply over here. So on the 4-hour time frame, we have the fractal structure shifting bearish over here, but it was just a wick break. And also, if you look at the 1-hour time frame, it wasn't, let's say, the highest probability play. It was more kind of like a liquidation spike, a very aggressive push, and a very aggressive correction back up. No real liquidation as well here in the overall push down. So for myself as well, it's built kind of like on descending highs. So descending high, descending high, descending high, descending high. So a lot of liquidity, which then all got taken out. So for myself, just not the ideal short. I was looking for a 4-hour short position, but then again, I really wanted to see kind of like a candle close to then eventually take out these ascending lows. But now what I'm really waiting for here on the 1-hour time frame is for momentum to really start kicking in. Because here you can see we break the low, we break the high. So I'm really looking for like another strong momentum push down before getting into any potential short positions. So yeah, let's see if we get that, and then I'll start looking to get into shorts on USD yen. And then we have, last of all, gold. With gold, we can see that we push down lower. This is perfect, exactly as we wanted. Because looking at this from a daily perspective, what this now means is that we've retraced into this daily area of demand. Now, the main reason for the drop overall in gold is obviously the ceasefire talks between Iran and Israel. So there were some conversations yesterday that Iran wanted to strike a deal together with the other Arab countries, with Israel, in relation to the nuclear program as well. So that was seen as risk on by the market, and the risk of sentiment kind of lost momentum, hence why gold also retraced. Now we're back inside of this area of demand here on the daily time frame. I'm still interested to look for that further upside. Now we've retraced into this area of demand over here, and this area of demand is your first area of demand. Now inside of this area of demand, we don't have any bullish confirmation at all. Again, we had a lot of ascending lows. The ascending lows have pretty much been taken out. The only one that is still remaining is this low over here. So I'm still monitoring what's going to happen here on gold. Preferably, we also swipe this low, and then we see the aggressive V-shaped reversal, and we start trading it back up higher. But then again, guys, look how beautifully this here played out with the one high, the second high, the third high, and then the overall downside push. So now with us pushing in towards this liquidity low over here, I'll be looking for a reversal sign again, which would be a V-shaped reversal breaking the fractal high, and then we could start looking for some longs again. But yeah, that is what I'll be waiting for on gold, because on gold, we're still in the bullish phase, still in the impulsive phase. So I'm still mainly just interested in looking for long positions, but we would need to really see like an aggressive buy, because otherwise we could also just head down lower and start taking out these ascending lows, because here is also still a lot of liquidity resting. But preferably, don't want to be too passive with getting into gold, so I'll just be waiting for the market to take out that liquidity low, and then get into those potential longs. Let's say the market does already start impulsing, because it can, right? We already see aggressive V-shape reversal. Then I'll be waiting for a double fractal break before getting involved. Now, this afternoon, we're going live on the New York session here on YouTube, guys, so make sure to be there. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and see you tomorrow.